Hey, it's Peter. I figured I'd do a quick video. Just kind of pretend we are shopping for an early model Gallardo. Just kind of show you how I would go about looking to see what's available on the market. Some different things I would look for in a car, some things I'd watch out for, different things I would consider like miles and things like that. So let's assume that we're looking for a used Lamborghini Gallardo, maybe an early model 04, 05. And let's say we want to spend around 100 grand. So the first place I would start out is right here on eBay, because you'll find that most of the cars that are available on the market are usually listed on eBay. A lot of the dealers will list their listings on eBay as well as on their website, and of course you'll see a lot of private sales offers here as well. eBay by no means does not have the entire Gallardo market. There's some other places you should look, which I'll show you here in a minute. But I like to start out on eBay because it kind of, like I said, it kind of gives you the whole picture of what's available right now on the market. So here we are on eBay. I've typed Lamborghini Gallardo in the search box, and we'll go ahead and just narrow down our search to cars and trucks. And let's say that we want to sort by price. So let's go ahead and do that. So sort by lowest first. And of course we don't want to buy something that's missing half the car like this one right here. You can buy one with out the rear part of the car, which looks like it got caught on fire or something like that. Looks like you can buy a half of a Gallardo for 18 grand. So there you go. Yeah, I don't think I would want any part of that. Anyways, what I would do is I would do this. I would search Gallardo, sort by price, low to high, and say we're looking to spend between 80 and 100 grand. Let's say that. So what we would first do is we would look for the cars in that price range. And let's say we find this one right here. This one is an 04 for $87,950. So pretty cheap for Lamborghini, right? However, if you take a closer look, you'll see that it has 33,766 miles. Now, obviously, that's nowhere near high miles if we were talking about a regular car, like, I don't know, a Toyota or any type of other common car that you see on the road. 33,000 miles is absolutely nothing. It's still kind of considered somewhat of a new car. But when you start getting into exotics like Lamborghinis, once you start getting over like 20,000 miles or so, that's when the value really starts to drop. Now, with that being said, I personally don't think that mileage would be anything to be worried about as far as reliability of the car. However, you would just need to keep in mind that if you did buy a car with 33,000 miles on it, you want to make sure you're getting it for the lowest price possible, because you're not the car's not going to go up in value that much because of the miles. Versus if you bought one that had, say, 10,000 miles on it, if you bought it for this price here, you can most likely make money on the car when you go to sell it a year later or whatever. So, like I said, what I like to do is I like to start out with the cars that are going for the lowest price possible, and then I just compare that with the miles. So, if you're looking for a car if you're looking to be into a Lambo for the lowest amount of money possible, then you may be looking at a higher mileage Gallardo. You just want to make sure that you have good service records with it. You want to make sure that you can see that the car was maintained. You want to make sure that common things have been done to the car. These 04 and 05s, they had an issue with the clutch from the factory where they did not last that long. They're burning out pretty quickly. Well, there was a new clutch that was supposed to be replace that old clutch. So you just want to make sure things like that have been fixed. You want to make sure that it had a recent clutch change, so you don't have to end up doing a $5,000 clutch change anytime soon. You want to make sure that the brakes are, fairly new. You want to make sure it's got good tires on it. You want to make sure all the recalls have been done to it. I believe these cars also had a power steering hose recall and a steering rack recall. There's a couple other recalls that you may want to look into, but you just want to make sure that the maintenance has been up and that all the stuff that are known to go wrong with these cars has been updated. Some people do say that to stay away from the early model E-Gear Gallardos because they are more prone to issues. I personally have not had any issues with mine yet, but again, I've only put a few thousand miles on mine. But anyways, as we move on down here, you'll see that as the price goes up, obviously the mileage will go down. So I think the thing that you want to kind of balance here is, of course, price and mileage. You want to, if you're looking to buy something and you don't want to, you want to somewhat hold its value, and you want to look for something under 20,000 miles. Anything under 15,000 miles, you're really getting into low mileage territory. Anything under 10,000 miles is really, really going to hold its value nicely if you don't put a lot of miles on the car. So I would just keep looking through here. Here's one for 99,000 with 22,000 miles. Again, if you're just looking to get into a Lambo for cheap and you don't really care about the mileage, again, there you go. But we're getting up higher in price here, and we're getting close to $100,000. So we don't really have anything under $100,000 really to choose from here, at least right now. I'll see if I can kind of put the price down to like 90,000 here. We'll go 70,000 to 90,000 and see what's available. And you'll get a lot of cars that are more money because the bids are currently low. Let's go ahead and change the year. See where I can do that here. Here we go. So from 2004 to 2005. Let's do that. And again, just the only one car we've looked at. So there's really not much on the market right now as far as lower priced Gallardos, and unless you want to spend upwards of around $100,000. So if you don't find much on eBay, another thing I like to look on are forums, and there's two forums I like a lot. The first one is LamborghiniTalk.com. You can go over here and go onto the classified section, go ahead and click on cars, and sometimes members in here will list their cars just on the forums. They won't list it on eBay for whatever reason. So you can go ahead, and here's one right here, 04 Gallardo E-Gear. Let's see here. Let's see what this one's going for. So this one's only got 12,000 miles, and he's only asking $100,000. That's pretty good price, and it looks like he's got a bunch of mods done to it already. He's got an RSC LP560 front bumper, so it's got the updated front bumper, powder coated or black Callisto wheels, got an updated navigation system, because the 04 and 05s came with actually CD and cassette players, which is kind of ridiculous. A common upgrade is to, or a common mod to these cars is to upgrade that head unit. Looks like it's got a Loc 5 Lamborghini of Orange County Rev 5 exhaust, clear glass bonnet. So these are all big money upgrades. I mean, this bumper right here is probably around $5,000. Who knows how much it costs to have it painted. This aftermarket head unit was probably $1,500 to a couple grand to have installed. Then we've got the exhaust. I think that's a $3,000 or $4,000 exhaust. We got the clear glass bonnet. I think that's a $7,000 or $8,000 add-on. It's got Expel all over the car. It's got the carbon fiber Superleggera steering wheel. I don't know how much that is. Probably a couple grand. And Gallardo caliper. So it's got probably, what is that, about $10,000 or $15,000 worth of add-ons. So I think personally this would be a good deal if you were looking to spend around $100,000. Mileage is low. Yes, it is an E-Gear, but hey, I'm happy with my E-Gear. I don't have any issues with it. If something goes wrong, parts on that system can be rebuilt for fairly cheap. You don't have to replace an E-Gear actuator and spend $25,000 like everyone says. You can send parts like that off to companies who specialize in rebuilding parts of the E-Gear, and you probably only spend maybe a couple grand. So here's a nice clean 04. Back into the forum here. Let's see what else is in here. And you'll find a lot of newer cars as well, but I mean you'll notice that the newer cars obviously are a lot higher than the 04, 05s. Here's an 04 Rancio Borealis. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce that, but that's the orange Gallardo. 04 with 16,000 miles, and he's asking 104.9. It's got an exhaust, lowered, black wheels, tint, glass bonnet. Oh nope, that's not a glass bonnet. Gloss black accents, and all maintenance up to date. New clutch, so that's a good sign. Interior paint, everything is 9 out of 10. So this would be obviously something to look at. I think maybe it's a little bit on the higher side there, but I'd like to see it close to around 100 or maybe 90, high 90s maybe. But again, a good clean car by the looks here. And again, it has a clutch, a recent clutch change on it, so that's a good thing. And really what I would do is I would just look through the forums like that, and the main things to look at with these cars, like I said, is you want to make sure that it has maintenance history, even if it's not dealer maintained. Even if the owner did the work themselves, if they have like a logbook of everything, that's a good sign. If it's got all the recalls done to it, if the clutch is a huge thing, you definitely want to make sure it has somewhat of a new clutch in it, and you want to get an e-gear snap measurement, which the dealer can do for you. It tells you how much of the clutch is left if it's an e-gear. That's pretty much the main things. I mean, and you want to make sure that you obviously get a PPI, which is a pre-purchase inspection. This is where you hire a third party to inspect the car and basically go over it and tell you everything that it needs. That's definitely a must. Yeah, so that's what I would do. I mean, that's exactly what I did when I started looking for my car. I started out on eBay and just started to go from there. So hopefully this video helps you if you're in the market for a used Gallardo 0405 model. Just be wary of the higher mileage cars, and I say that as in quote unquote higher mileage cars, because 30,000 miles is considered a lot on these cars. Just be wary that you want to make sure the maintenance has been done, and just make sure that you get it for a good price, because you're not going to make that money back. Just as an example, this one's got 32,000 miles and he's only asking 85. So another good thing I want to point out before we move on, actually, I just remembered, if you have plans to like send the car off and get twin turbos installed on it or something like that, if you want to build like a car with underground racing or something like that, you'd probably be better off in buying a higher mileage Gallardo, right? Maybe something with 30, 40,000 miles on it, paying $80,000 or $70,000 for it, as low as you can get it for, and then sending it off to underground racing and spending 40 or I think it's 60 grand to have the twin turbo kit, because they actually rebuild your motor. So you basically get a new motor in the end anyways. I would not spend like 100 grand for one and then with the idea of sending it off to underground racing anytime soon. So anyways, I hope you got something out of this video, and let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.